Alright, so everyone's been talking about this plugin. I just wanted to check it out. This is not a sponsored post, by the way. This plugin is literally available for name your own price, name a fair price. So the reason I think that a lot of people are talking about this at the moment most likely has to do with the fact that it's a binaural panner. In most DAWs, you can obviously pan, but panning is not really like necessarily true panning. We can obviously pan our signal left or right, but all this really does is just turns down the volume of the signal on the opposite side, which is totally fine, and a lot of the time it will do the job. But in terms of sound design, it can be actually quite limiting. So to correct this, in most recent years, Ableton has sort of compensated with this new mode where you can select to split the stereo pan. But once we turn this on, we have control over the left and the right signals and where they each sit in the stereo field, which is actually a huge upgrade and definitely heading in the right direction. But if we want to take it a further step forward, basically what Halo 3D does emulates sound in a physical space, just giving us heaps more freedom and possibilities when it comes to sound design. So we've got like 4 different parameters. So the first one on the left over here is the width. Then we got the azimuth, which is just kind of like the rotation, I guess, essentially. Then we've got elevation. If you were to picture like this being in like a physical space, like how high up the signal is coming from. We can also just double click on any of the elements and it will just reset the values. I'm just reading these tips from the developer. Most of the time I keep the elevation at 0 degrees. Increasing the elevation will decrease the width of the signal. Moving the width from 0 to 25% can add a lot of depth to the stereo input signal. I just had this lead that I designed in Serum. I just wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So I thought I could play around with this and try and find like somewhere good. Also, I'm not sure, this user interface is like purple and red. In the picture, it's like blue. So I'm not sure if like this is kind of like a glitch or something. It seems to be working fine otherwise. If you're wearing like headphones, you can definitely tell a difference in how realistic the pan sounds. Like when I push it over to the left, it definitely sounds a lot more interesting than if I was to just like grab this and just pan it over to one side. Definitely this will be a go-to. It just sounds so much more realistic. I'm gonna finish this beat too. I made this snare the other day, so I'm gonna use it. Dug up the old Massive. Dangerous combo, these two. I'm just kind of realizing like this little section that I've added in here, the importance of like subtlety like that. I really just like pushed this delay mix like pretty hard. Obviously ran it through a distortion like a Redux, but I use this pre-filter so it rolls off the top end, which I really like this because it takes away from the harshness of the distortion itself. I like to have the delay first in the signal and then put the reverb after that so that you're hearing all the delays, reflections inside the reverb space. Otherwise, if you think of it, putting the reverb first, then you're hearing all of the delays, reflections like on top of that signal, which doesn't really make sense. It's just more of a realistic thing to put the reflections inside of the reverb. Because I just wanted this element to be supporting the rest of what was already there, I went pretty heavy on pushing it back with delay and reverb. Alright, so that's it for the video. Thanks once again for watching. Make sure to sub, leave a comment if you want me to answer it. If you want to cop this project file, go and check out my Patreon. The membership also includes my stash kit and loops as well. And it's a really great way to support me. See you in the next video.